Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BSV TV. I'm your host Satoshi, and on this show we'll be defending the one and only, truly genuine Bitcoin. The Bitcoin that Satoshi Nakamoto designed in his white paper as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system for the world. Let's get the disclaimers out of the way. So all the statements that you hear on this show are opinion and must only ever be taken as opinion. They are never to be taken as any form of advice, family, financial, sexual or otherwise. And on that note, let's sit back, relax, have some fun and enjoy the show. Get paid for your content in Bitcoin and set your own fee on Streamanity.
Yeah, I'm not surprised I wasn't asked why I'm convinced Craig is Satoshi. I posted on Reddit. He signed in my presence using the private key from block number one, the very first mined Bitcoin block. On a computer that I'm convinced had not been tampered with, on software I'm convinced that had not been tampered with, a message of my choosing.
At Enchain, we've just funded a number of universities doing, so far, a test up to 1 gigabyte because it validates what we've already done independently. We've tested up to 380 gigabyte blocks. We've tested 1 million transactions a second and transaction sizes up to 20 megabytes. Super complex scripts. Basically ones that can run operating systems. That's all of global commerce times about 50. On top of that, we can have complex scripts. On top of that, we can scale each of those transactions 1,000 times, which effectively means about 1 billion transactions per second, which means we can then have all derivatives, all complex trades. That means high frequency trading. It means everything that happens globally.
Is the market that effectively BSV is going for, is that global e-commerce, which is currently valued at $29 trillion?
No, that's too small.
Buy and sell Bitcoin instantly at bsvgravity.com. And you can now book and pay for your winter holiday at skibsv.com. Alrighty people, it looks like we are live. Welcome to Satoshi TV, aka Bitcoin SV TV, aka It's Just Bitcoin. Rock and roll, here we go, that's looking much better. Never a dull moment in crypto, as you've probably seen on my Twitter profile. I've been thoroughly amusing myself by adding extensions to my douchebags of Bitcoin series, been great fun. And I'm starting to see another douchebag of Bitcoin, looks like she's going to be well worthy of it. Look at this. Kathy Wood said here, in quotes, "I've had the honour of meeting core coin developers. They know economic history better than anyone I've ever met." Well, I don't think she's met many people then. Because we know that core coin don't know jack shit about monetary theory. They might know their history and what they've done to it by effing it up. But dear oh dear, honestly, egg on the face. Should I just get the scraper now? Unbelievable, honestly. We know that they're absolutely nothing. I mean, look, I've got Samson Mao here, douchebags of Bitcoin. If you want money, it doesn't have to be very fancy. What on earth are you on about? What on earth, honestly? These core coin people are going to be, put to shame. Like, seriously, I caught Vitalik Buterin out earlier as well. He's now in my douchebags of Bitcoin. Tony Vase is in there. Love it. But let's crack on with it. Oh yeah, today's day is Saturday, the 24th of July, 2021. Let's be gone. So I saw this earlier. Thought, yes, want to read this article. Sounds hilarious. Look, Texas files cease and desist against BlockFi. Sooner or later, they are all going to be running for the hills. So let's see what this says. Texas is the latest state to file a cease and desist order against BlockFi, the New Jersey-based digital currency company. Regulators in Texas are targeting BlockFi and its two subsidiaries, BlockFi Trading and BlockFi Lending, and are claiming that BlockFi is selling unregistered securities via its BlockFi interest accounts. Yes, they are. According to the Texas State Securities Board, quotes here, on or about April 20th, 2021, the Enforcement Division of the State Securities Board, the Enforcement Division, notified respondent BlockFi that respondents may have offered securities in Texas that may not comply with the Securities Act. The Enforcement Division also explained that the regulation of the securities market in Texas, including the identification of laws that require the registration of securities, the registration of dealers and agents, and the truthful disclosure of all known material facts. Nevertheless, respondents have continued to offer the BIAs to Texans in violation of Section 7 and 12 of the Securities Act. Dear oh dear. Texas is the third state this week to issue BlockFi a cease and desist order due to BlockFi offering BlockFi interest accounts to the state's residents. Earlier this week, we have seen BlockFi's home state of New Jersey issue BlockFi a cease and desist order, and the state of Alabama issued BlockFi a show cause order over BlockFi's interest account offering. Shortly after the Alabama Securities Commission issued BlockFi the show cause order, BlockFi took to Twitter saying, again trying to use social media, we are aware of the show cause order issued by the Alabama Securities Commission. We have active dialogues with regulators worldwide, including those in Alabama, to share details about our products, which we believe are lawful, though they're not, and appropriate for crypto market participants. No, they're not. Our stance hasn't changed. The BlockFi interest account is not a security. You're wrong. It is absolutely a security. Unbelievable. What is an interest account? An interest account allows individuals to stake and lend their digital assets for a yield on their initial amount. Lending and borrowing platforms like BlockFi were one of the earliest forms of decentralized finance, allowing individuals to receive peer-to-peer financial services that resemble those you get in the traditional financial world. Deadlines approaching. There is a regulatory crackdown going on in the blockchain and digital currency space, and recently BlockFi's interest accounts have been an area that financial regulators in several states have been focusing on. Never before have we seen regulators take a close look at a digital currency lending product, and the decision these financial regulators making regarding BlockFi's interest accounts is likely to affect several other service providers that also offer digital currency lending and borrowing services. While Alabama is giving BlockFi 28 days to show cause why they should not be directed to cease and desist from selling unregistered securities in Alabama, the New Jersey is giving BlockFi until July 29th to stop offering interest accounts to New Jersey residents. The State Office of Administrative Hearings in Texas will decide whether BlockFi can continue operating in Texas in October. Dear oh dear, it's coming. The noose is being tightened. None of these goons have a clue what they're on about. Not the regulators, obviously, but people like BlockFi. Just unbelievable. Honestly, the ignorance is just something that I'm not used to, but I'm glad it's coming. And let's have a look at this one. This one sounds hilarious. Look at this. Ripple accidentally makes a good point in SEC defense. Why isn't Ether an unregistered security too? All these shitcoins are going to take the shitcoins down with them. It's hilarious. They're like, we ain't going down unless you're going down with us. They're just dragging everything else down. It's hilarious. So in January, Ripple filed its defense against the US Securities and Exchange Commission suit against the company over its offering of XRP. So, if anybody isn't sure what XRP is, I'm just going to find my lovely video shorts here. This absolutely cracks me up. So we're going to have David Schwartz, the Chief Technical Officer at Ripple Labs, explaining that XRP is absolutely an illegal security and utterly, fundamentally worthless. Take the floor, David.
The XRP is a digital asset. It's censorship resistant. It's publicly traded. It trades on the XRP ledger. Ripple does not own or control the XRP ledger in any way.
Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
So how did Ripple then get all the XRP that it has? It has about half the supply. So just how did that particular transaction happen?
Good question. How did Ripple end up with half the supply of XRP?
So the way its design works is when the ledger first began operation, the 100 billion XRP, all that will ever exist, were sort of up for grabs. And lots of people grabbed XRP out of that system. But it just so happens that obviously, just like early miners mined huge amounts of Bitcoin before the public knew about it or was using it, early XRP users grabbed large amounts of that pool of XRP. And so the people who developed the ledger wound up with the vast majority of it.
Brilliant. One more time, David.
The people who developed the ledger wound up with the vast majority of it.
Because they grabbed it. Remind me to go and have a look up for the economic theory of being up for grabs. What an absolute joke shop, a complete joke shop. So based on the legal test for determining whether something is a security or not, the Howey test, the SEC has a case. However, in filing its defense, Ripple Labs made an excellent point worthy of discussion, albeit unintentionally. Why should the SEC consider XRP a security when the likes of BTC and Ethereum have remained free from SEC security? Absolutely. We know that ever since the signatures were segregated on the 24th of August 2017, BTC became a security, and Ethereum has always been a security. It's outrageous. In some ways, the answer is very straightforward. You should. The question of why it hasn't is somewhat more complicated. Brief history of SEC versus Ripple. All right. On December 22nd, 2020, the SEC announced it was taking action against Ripple Labs and two of its executives, co-founder Christian Larson and CEO Bradley Garlinghouse, over the offering of unregistered securities to the tune of over $1.3 billion. The offering was related to Ripple's XRP token. The two named individuals were included because they individually sold enormous volumes of XRP, almost 2 billion combined. Good grief. Absolute crap. The specifics of the SEC complaint are simple. Under the Howey test for determining whether something is a security or not, and under US securities laws, the offering of XRP amounted to the offering of an unregistered security in terms of Howey. This means 1. There was an investment of money, 2. The investment was into a common enterprise, and 3. There was a reasonable expectation of profit reliant upon the efforts of others. Absolutely. The digital asset classes, the first two elements are typically straightforward. The third prong is usually where most analysis is directed. In the case of Ripple, the SEC cites numerous instances of the company telling investors that Ripple's efforts with regard to XRP are meant to spur demand for the asset, and did in fact endeavor to increase the value of XRP by, for example, working to have it listed on third-party exchanges and addressing specific concerns with the protocol expressed by inventors. In January, Ripple filed its defense to the claims made by the SEC. At its core, Ripple is not attacking the SEC, Howeys, and analysts. Rather, they are arguing the SEC is obliged to give Ripple notice that it was violating US securities laws before filing its suit. The fair notice defense. XRP, BTC, and ETH securities. Yep, absolutely. However, Ripple does make one argument in particular that is worthy of attention. The SEC's filing, based on an overarching legal theory, amounts to picking virtual currency winners and losers. The SEC has exempted Bitcoin and Ethereum from similar regulation. When it comes to regulators, the absence of a stance with regard to a particular product or activity is not an indication that it is permitted. For instance, we only discovered the SEC considers Ripple XRP's offering to be unlawful because it eventually took action against it. However, in the case of BTC and Ethereum, the SEC has made statements indicating that they are currently considering both of those products to be within the bounds of the law. The then director of the SEC's Division Corporate Finance, Bill Hinman, gave a speech at the Yahoo Finance All Markets Summit where he said, quote here, "If the network on which the token or coin is to function is sufficiently decentralized, where purchasers would no longer reasonably expect a person or group to carry out essential managerial or entrepreneurial efforts, the assets may not represent an investment contract. Moreover, when the efforts of the third party are no longer a key factor of determining the enterprise's success, material information, asymmetries recede. As a network becomes truly decentralized, the ability to identify an issuer or promoter to make the requisite disclosures become difficult and less meaningful." Well, I mean, we all know who the inventor and the creator of Ethereum and Ripple was, so therefore it's easy to determine that they're securities. When I look at Bitcoin, I mean, this is one of the reasons why it was so important that Craig started the network under a pseudonym and vanished for 10 years. So it's got 10 years worth of neutral growth, and proof of work is what dilutes that central point of authority and control over time, so that it has no central point of control. So when I look at Bitcoin today, I do not see a central third party whose efforts are a key determining factor in the enterprise. The network on which Bitcoin's functions is operational and appears to have decentralized for some time, perhaps from inception. Applying the disclosure regime of the federal securities laws to the offer and resale of Bitcoin would seem to add little value. Well, I mean, they've yet to investigate SegWit, have they? He went on to say the same about Ethereum, and after the remarks were released to the public, the price of Ethereum shot up by 11%. After spending the year to that point in a steep decline, perhaps lending credibility to Ripple's accusation the SEC enforcement is the picking of winners and losers in the digital asset space. Regardless, this statement, released well before the XRP action, shows that the notion of decentralization has played a significant part in the SEC's, to this point, choice not to consider BTC or Ethereum or securities. But Ethereum is absolutely a security. I mean, it was forked from Ethereum Classic. It's absolutely controlled. Where Ripple is wrong in the conclusion it draws from this fact, the SEC's apparent double standard between BTC and Ethereum on the one hand and XRPs on the other. It's not an indication that XRP isn't a security. It's an indication that BTC and Ethereum are like XRP. Well, they're not, but they're still securities. Neither of those projects can be properly described as decentralized. In the same way that as the SEC argues, investors in XRP were relying on the work of others to ensure the success of Ripple, those who buy BTC and Ethereum are relying on the actions of the concentrated group of core developers to develop and maintain the network. Especially in the case of BTC, where people are still trying to argue that it is going to be a viable payment method. What a joke. One has to ask how investors expect BTC to be able to someday transform from its current status as a speculative instrument into a practical method of payment, if not through the work of a small group of identifiable developers. Absolutely. Likewise, if it's true that Ethereum is decentralized, for example, then it shouldn't be possible to identify the same exact group of people responsible for each major code and non-code development on the Ethereum network since before it was released. Compare XRP, BTC and Ethereum to the likes of BSV, the protocol of which is fixed and which already functions as a scalable payment method. It does not require highly centralized action to work as intended, and increased in its value come from third parties using the protocol to create real-world use cases. Incidentally, those in control of Ethereum make a point to denigrate BSV rather than one another, including as recently as last month. Legal consultant Johnny Jaswal, writing for CoinGeek, took a close look at Ethereum 2.0 status under Howey. Validators on the network are making an investment of money into a common enterprise by staking funds. Absolutely. And this was done with the expectation of profits arising from the work of others, namely the Ethereum Foundation's ability to execute its four-phase plan to merge the Ethereum 2.0 network with the mainnet. He writes in conclusion, "It is my view that the myth of decentralization and lack of understanding regarding the state of digital assets and platforms have allowed assets such as BTC and Ethereum to secure the SEC pass. The SEC has taken a positive step with respect to its XRP complaint and should similarly revisit other assets such as Ethereum, especially in the context of Ethereum 2.0 analysis above." In other words, the answer isn't that none of XRP, BTC or Ethereum are securities, it's that all of them are. Ooh, scathing. Why disparity? It's certainly possible the SEC themselves are still teasing out the boundaries of which offerings are subject to SEC regulation and which are not. However, there is some reason to question why at least Ether has managed to avoid drawing the ire of the SEC when in reality it meets the Howey test and the SEC's focus on decentralization. William Hinman, the former SEC Division of Corporate Finance Director, who spoke out about the lack of centralization in both BTC and Ethereum, was a partner at law firm Simpson Thacher, a position to which he returned following the end of his SEC term. Simpson Thacher also happens to be a member of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, a members organization aimed at driving the adoption and use of Ethereum blockchain technology. Naughty. When Hinman left Simpson Thacher to join the SEC, it was a retirement. This is the presumed justification for the firm agreeing to pay Hinman an almost $1.6 million annual pension. And indeed, a pension is one of the few ways federal employees are permitted to receive compensation from private companies. That's outrageous. Accepting outright payment is illegal, but he can take a pension. Good grief. But $1.6 million is a lot of money for a pension. Business Insider reported that a previous holder of the office, who has also come from a private sector law firm, received an annual pension of around $75,000. Two other public officials who served the Trump administration after a career in private law disclosed annual pension payments of $169,000 and $311,000. The entire system is corrupt. It's outrageous. Hinman is now no longer with the SEC, surprise, surprise, having returned to his job at the Simpson Thatcher and put his brief multi-million-dollar retirement behind him. All of this is why Ripple is deposing Hinman in the SEC case. They want to show that his Yahoo speech, Hinman was signaling to the market that the likes of BTC and Ethereum are SEC compliant, and that because Ripple is in largely the same position as those two assets. It was a signal that XRP is too. Ripple hopes that this will mean a validation for their fair notice defense, but it seems more likely that it causes the SEC to re-examine the Hinman position and realize their next enforcement actions need to be addressed to BTC and Ethereum, particularly since the SEC has already tried to distance itself from Hinman's speech, which is still available on the SEC website. Oh dear, the truth shall set you free and also get you incarcerated. Scumbags. For all the decision that has come as a result of the SEC's action against Ripple, most miss the real implications that under the standards set in the Howey by the SEC themselves, there are a few digital asset offerings which do not amount to a security. They're all securities. Well, maybe Litecoin come close to not being one, but that's it. If the SEC are going to punish Ripple, then they should be punishing those responsible for BTC and Ethereum as well. It is an astute point made by Ripple, albeit unintentionally, but it won't save them. It does highlight that sooner or later the SEC will have to revisit the BTC and Ethereum question, apply the same standards they used to take action against Ripple. Action against those two projects is long overdue. Yes, indeed it is. Yes, indeed it is. Just get the popcorn ready, folks. My goodness. Ha! That's hilarious. Let's see what was going on here. I'll check out this. A Canadian border town suspends Bitcoin mining over aesthetic concerns because they're all popping up along the highway or something like that. Here we go. So city officials have imposed a 3-month suspension on new Bitcoin mining operations to make roads and buildings more presentable. That's hilarious. Mansena, a town in New York along the border with Canada, has placed a temporary suspension on new Bitcoin mining operations in the area. According to a report by the Associated Press on Friday, Mansena town officials mandated the 90-day moratorium on new Bitcoin mining activities due to aesthetic concerns. Steve O'Shaughnessy, a Massena town supervisor, said miners littered roads with trailers laden with computers and other hardware required to mine Bitcoin. The AP reported quotes O'Shaughnessy's statement to the WW New York TV, saying, "We don't want it littered with these trailers that are pumping out Bitcoin. We just want to make sure if they are going to come here that it's a nice, presentable building." Town officials will reportedly use the 90-day moratorium to ensure that roadsides in Massena are decluttered with trailers and shipping containers are moved off-road. Meanwhile, Massena Electric is reportedly looking to sign deals with 3 crypto firms, according to the AP report. The power company also has its own moratorium on working with new crypto miners. With small border towns in North America, hemorrhaging factory jobs over the past decade, Bitcoin and crypto mining operations represent a return to some industrial activities to places like Massena. Cheap electricity in the area is often a major draw for Bitcoin miners, and in return the companies offer the promise of jobs and bootstrapping the local economy. Indeed, with China's massive crypto mining crackdown and the expected east to west hash rate migration, the smaller towns in North America might play host to more Bitcoin mining activity. Meanwhile, the major North American Bitcoin mining operations continue to upscale their capacity amid the current hash rate drop in a bid to capture a large portion of the market. Wow. North America Bitcoin miners controlling a large share of the global hash rate distribution may also contribute to putting the industry in a better standard with regulators, especially in the area of environmental conservation. Wow, you know, times are changing, people. Times are moving. You know, wow. It's coming. It's all coming to Bitcoin. The whole of it, because the space is huge. And it's all speculation at the moment, looking for true value. And the only true value is in Bitcoin, which is BSV. And they just don't even know it yet. They have no clue. Let's have a look at this. What's this about? What is Axie Infinity, the Play-to and NFT game taking crypto by storm? Good grief. There was some other crazy article the other day about some kid that had made $160,000 from selling NFTs. Something ridiculous anyway. Where was it? Oh, there we go. Oh my goodness me. Look. How a 12-year-old made over $160,000 on Ethereum on NFTs in one day. Oh my god. What is this? Teens love the blockchain. 12-year-old Benjamin Ahmed's Weird Whale NFT sold out in less than 24 hours. Oh my god. Oh my god. In brief, Weird Whales, a collection of 3,350 whale-themed NFTs, sold out in about 9 hours earlier this week. It's part of a project by Benjamin Ahmed, a 12-year-old from England. Last month, we introduced you to Ganesh Naik, a 13-year-old boy from Goa, India, who drummed up his own investment management program for cryptocurrency. Apparently, there's quite a market for tweens looking to get into crypto. This past week, a 12-year-old sold a series of original NFT icons for over $160,000. The NFT collection is Weird Whales, a set of pixelated whale icons inspired by stock image. And the kid is Benjamin Ahmed. He's based out of London, of a London suburb, and one of Decrypt's English staffers described as small, quaint, and dull. I got interested in NFT space because I originally thought it was cool as an online flex, said Ahmed. It was only later, after developing a respect for the digital-first art style of popular NFT collectors like CryptoPunks and a Bored Ape Yacht Club, that he decided to make a collection of his own. That's hilarious. Let's see what it says here. For the uninitiated, the NFT is a kind of cryptocurrency that can be attached to a file on the internet and sold as a proof of ownership. They've been around for years, but it's only the past 6 months that they've achieved mainstream recognition. In March, the $96 million sale of an NFT by digital artist Bleeple made front pages of the Wall Street Journal. 69 million! I mean, where does that rank in terms of, you know, Michelangelo and, you know, Leonardo da Vinci and Picasso and all? I mean, it's got to be way up there. You know, in fact, let's do a quick Google. Here we go. Most expensive paintings sold at auction. We'll do paintings plural. So what's this? 450 million adjusted price. 450 million for the most expensive painting ever sold at auction. 110 million, you know. Van Gogh, still 179 million paid for work risen to the highest price paid for painting at auction at the time. Blah 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 blah. Mona Lisa, Last Supper. All right, so it's like, you know, well, the most expensive being sort of like 400 million down to 100 million, and then we've got Bleeple selling for 69 million. I mean, it's insane, absolutely insane. As with CryptoPunks and Bored Ape Yacht Club, each Weird Whale image comes with a set of distinct traits, some rarer and more valuable than others. The 1,205th image in the collection, which RaritySniper.com ranks as the 8th rarest of 3,350 total. Weird Whale and NFTs recently sold for around $6,000 on the secondary market. Oh my god. Oh my god. Ahmed's father, Imran, works as a web developer for a financial services organization. He introduced Benjamin and his brother to HTML and CSS at the age of 5 or 6. Recently, the siblings have been honoring their skills on an online coding platform called Code Wars. Weird Whales began when one of the developers behind another alternative NFT project, Boring Bananas, oh my god, sent Ahmed a noted Python script with a template for creating his own tier images. His father walked him through the process of plugging in his own asset. I told him, look, you need to replace the variable names here. So where they've got bananas and backgrounds and stuff, you need to replace it with yours. Is that it? Thanks to some clever networking with Boring Bananas team, Weird Whales went viral and Ahmed made 80 Ethereum in about 9 hours. I've also made some money from royalties on OpenSea, he added. Whenever someone buys a whale, I get 2.5% of the amount of money it's sold for. It's hard to imagine that the traditional financial system with its pesky safeguards and consumer protection laws would have allowed $160,000 to simply drop into Ahmed's lap without a sign-off from a parent or guardian. But Ahmed insists he's not interested in spending the money anytime soon. He goes, I'll probably just hodl, he said. Oh my goodness me. Well, he's going to wish he spent that sooner or later, I'm telling you, because ETH is going to zero. And what's Damien Hirst's $20 million twist on NFTs? A 6x oversubscribed. British artist Damien Hirst looks to set $20 million with his latest art drop, The Currency, which forces prospective buyers to choose between physical and digital art in the shape of NFTs. Is that what it was? Anyway, I can't be bothered with that. What a joke. Anyway, shout out to people in the chat box. We've got Oxono, Odin Horus, Keith Fellows, Snoozefest and KP Dad in the house, right people? Paymails and handles in the chat box. Let's do this. Rock and roll. It is time for Dinging of the Dong. One of my favourite parts of the day. Check it out. Right, starting from the top. Oxon, have I got your one yet? I've got Oxon 11. Is that you? Well, just going to send one to him anyway. There we go. Got it. Odin Horus, you're going to have to put yours in there too. Keith Fellows. Here we go. That is BIG. Got it. Swiping to send on the way. A Snooze Fest. That is Madame. Here we go. Got it. Yep. Is that right? Swiping to send on the way. Yeah, got it. And a KP Dad 72 on the way to you. KP Dad 72. Swiping to send on the way. Orange Kicks in there as well. Excellent. Sending. That's ORA. Got it. Swiping to send. There we are. I think that's everybody. Yeah, nice one. Okay. Alright people, that'll do for the show. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. And as ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, joy given. Catch you guys later. Get paid for posting your pics on Relica. Download the app now at www.getrelica.com. Get your tweet etched on Twitch, forever on the Bitcoin blockchain. Do it today at www.jointwitch.com. BuyBSV.live, the best place to buy Bitcoin SV online. Support independent content creators on micropayment platforms such as Streamanity, Twitch and Relica. We should profit from our data, not the large corporations who track, monitor and sell it. If you enjoy the Bitcoin content that I produce, please support me by heading over to www.satoshi.tv, where you can keep up to date with all the latest news, gossip and content as it's created. Thanks very much. To get started in Bitcoin, go to freebsv.com, where you can claim your free Bitcoin. Then head over to Twitter and follow @IamSatoshi, where you can take part in his very generous and world famous free giveaways. The future of advertising meets the power of Bitcoin at Tonic Pow. Get paid for posting advertising campaigns to your social media profiles. Go to www.tonicpowads.com.